What's up, everybody? Welcome back to your favorite New York Jets subscription podcast, Badlands. I'm your host, Joe Caporoso, joined as always by Connor Rogers. Draft Guide Week at Badlands. If you have not yet, get to War Room. Subscribe up at that level. Check out the Draft Guide. It dropped yesterday. We did a War Room talking about it, previewing it. It is an immaculate piece of content that has over 150 scouting reports that will get you ready for the entire draft. I will not peer pressure you anymore, but upgrade to War Room, get the Draft Guide, get smart about the NFL draft. We're going to talk about a range of topics today on this Wednesday morning pod. Draft is 8 days out. Connor, how you doing? How you feeling? The final home stretch for what is your Super Bowl every single year.
Feeling good, I have to say. I usually feel much worse this time of year. Give it 2 more weeks, and my body will completely quit on me, and then my corpse will fly out to Kentucky for Derby week for work. So it'll be a really good time. Yeah, go ahead, Joe.
I was gonna say this year you have the draft ending, you have Derby, and then like your wedding.
Then I get married.
6 weeks away, 5 weeks away.
Yeah.
So Godspeed and make sure you're hydrated and ready to rock for that wedding. Ironically, a little fun piece of trivia: you're getting married at the exact same venue I got married at.
It's crazy.
9 years ago. What a Badlands twist of fate. So myself and my wife excited to be back there.
It was so funny when we told you guys. You're like, oh, that's where we got married.
It's a great goddamn venue. I'm excited to be back.
It is. I can't wait for the wedding, man. Although, to be honest with you, I probably need the extra couple of weeks. Maybe I can wait right now. I'd like the draft to go by. I'd like this business trip to go by. In quotes, business trip to the Kentucky Derby. And the guide, even just awesome work by everybody involved. It's so much fun. We love, publishing that for everybody. And in the midst of all that, we get Woody Johnson's favorite thing, and that's new uniforms.
This is what he does. Everyone's releasing the video of the walkout to the concert, and I've seen the Danny Dimes version, I've seen the Tibbs version, and of course I've seen the Woody version about announcing the new jerseys, which did drop. We're recording this Monday night. It's hitting the feed Wednesday mornings. Today was the day they dropped the jerseys, and they're great. They're much better than the old Gase era jerseys, which nobody will remember fondly. And if you're not a Jets fan, you probably only saw limited action of the Jets last year. Stop watching them after week 1. Those were not always their jerseys. They now have the cool jerseys all the time. I love the whites. I think they really pop. I love the way the new helmets look. Like, God, I hated their jerseys the last few years. And I'm not a jersey guy. The only jersey that I still have and really wear with any consistency is my Curtis Martin jersey. I have other jerseys like tucked away in storage to eventually give my kids. But these are nice. Like, they are nice, and they will look better on TV. They will look better in the stadium. They got it right compared to the old ones. So
give me one thing you like about them, one thing you don't with the new uniforms, and then give me a rating out of 10.
I mean, I think out of like a 10, it's about what we expected, but it's like an 8 or an 8.5.
Right, 8.5.
It pops. It definitely pops so much more than the old ones. The way they kind of weave the black in and the way they've released some of the hat designs with like the weird ovals, I don't necessarily love, but I love the way the white and green like pop together. And again, I'm not much of a fashion expert, but just being in the stadium last year with the iteration of that jersey or a similar version of it they looked just better and different. And even in watching those highlights after the game, that felt like a more exciting professional team. The Gotham Green era, the clunky rollout with everyone who's gone now except for CJ Mosley, who's made it through 2 jersey reveals. It's just so tied to like Gase and choking away that lead. And I don't know any Jet fan who liked those. So they had a very low bar to clear. I'm sure the Jets are selling a ton of merch. I'm jealous. Go to Badlands TOJ, just get a quarter zip instead, because I like our logo very much. You can see it up in Connor's corner there on the light. It's a nice logo,
and we went with the old green initially.
The old green, yeah.
Which was obviously the Jets eventually followed us back to their old green.
If you were, I know you don't wear jerseys much anymore. Maybe you got, like the Knicks tank top over the summer or stuff.
Yeah, I do have.
You got your Brunson
I have an
jersey
Earl Monroe
There you go.
And then I had, fortunately, quickly. That's the only recent one I had. Yeah, it's a good like Manasquan beach attire.
Yes, as two guys who spent a lot of time down the shore as kids,
Yeah.
I have so many basketball jerseys from that Bulwark. I have a Gary Payton Bucks jersey that I won at one of those
Perfect.
games. Perfect, great throwback jersey. What of this, if you had to buy and wear a jersey, what player and what style would you buy?
Ooh, man. I think I would go. I'll say this. What shocked me. This is, I guess, my one thing I liked. I love the green jerseys. And
Wow,
the Jets have been, I mean, the white's a home run, but the Jets, as bad as the last uniforms were, I never minded the all white, the spotlight white jerseys. It was like, okay, the Jets, their green, no matter what the palette is, just looks good with the all white. But I would this time, because they finally have a good green jersey again. And the last one was so bad. The last green jersey was horrendous. That I would get a white jersey because I think it came out really nice. It feels the most old school, like vintage, but it pops. Now the question is who you get. I think if you're going with a player on the team right now, it would be Garrett Wilson changing to 5.
Yeah,
that's a nice
one.
That's a nice jersey. I think he's going to be here a long time. He's a fan favorite.
He goddamn better be here a long time.
Right. Wide receivers are, you love wearing wide receiver jerseys. I feel like I always wore wide receiver jerseys. The only Jets jerseys I have right now, I have 2 Jets jerseys. I have Keyshawn, the Kelly green, like for the Kelly, like kind of Kelly green from the 90s. And then I have a Revis because like you just have to have a Revis. He's the greatest Jet of all time in terms of just talent. So yeah, I'd go green Garrett Wilson. I like the real answer you think would be Brees, but you just know the shelf life of running back just kills you.
I know. I mean, Garrett at number 5 is like, this guy has also had back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons with Zach Wilson at quarterback. And when you look back at how few Jet receivers have had 1,000-yard seasons since 2000, it's that much more impressive. So if we get Rodgers, who's back at the facility today, not running for VP, playing football in New Jersey, you get Rodgers for 14, 15 games. Garrett Wilson is going to go insane this year.
Let me ask you this. Yeah. You have to get somebody tells you, hey, I'll send you, say it's the Jets. The Jets are like, I will send you an authentic jersey of our new jerseys, but it can't be a starter. Who you get?
Wow. What a question.
I think I know my answer.
Shit. I would not a starter. I guess I can't do special teamers. I'll
throw that in. You could, but it's tough.
I mean, of course, because of course I would be going Morstead because how strongly I feel about the punters. But Ruckert as a backup tight end.
That's a good call.
Everyone likes him. Defensively, I've always liked Eccles, and he has.
I was going to say Eccles.
Yeah. He's got multiple pick sixes at Tua, so you could kind of like taunt a Dolphins fan, and maybe he ends up being around for a while post DJ Reed. And outside of that, man, I definitely would have got a Quentin Jefferson jersey last year because I was such a big fan.
You did love him.
I know Dan would get a Kinlaw jersey, but he's technically a starter.
Right.
Shit, man. We'd probably have to get Brownlee jerseys just to represent for our UDFA love last year.
Yeah, offense for me is Brownlee. Defense for me is definitely Eccles.
Eccles, man, guys who get pick sixes. There's not a lot of pick sixes in recent Jets history, and he's got like a couple.
When Tua goes to sleep at night and can't fall asleep, he sees Eccles in his nightmares.
He's worried about Brandon Eccles, who again I like as a fourth corner a lot.
Didn't Eccles pick off Tom Brady and ask them to sign the ball? That was Eccles.
Yes, that was the Jets Tampa game that they of course should have won, but like Zach Wilson like messed up the call in the huddle on a 4th down play, but yeah, he's got a nose for the ball, and we like him. Maybe he ends up being a starter in 2025 if they don't work something out with Reed. We'll see. We talked on War Room about them potentially drafting a corner at some point, and I am sure it's going to be, again, that sort of hybrid safety corner where we're like, is he even on the draft guide somewhere? We got to dig all the way to the bottom when he could be. That's always part of day 3. I am ready for. I mentally said 70-30. It's pass catcher versus offensive line, although there's plenty of scenarios I'm happy with, and there's a wide range of people they could end up with. I am ready for the alternative position. If they go offensive line, it's receiver. If they go receiver, it's offensive line with the next pick. And outside of that, I'm ready for the day 3 quarterback, and I am ready for an interior defensive lineman. Those are the 4 things, like quarterback, interior defensive lineman, receiver / pass catcher. Bowers, I think, is still the favorite in the clubhouse right now if they stay put at 10, even though I slightly like Odunze more and probably like Fitano more if he's there. And then offensive line at some point. If it's not in round 1, they will do it at some point. But if it's not in round 1, it's a Bakhtiari or Andres Pete signing at some point.
Carter Warren's season.
Carter Warren, how much the staff